I'm Dr. Neeta Gupta, and today I'm going to tell you about anxiety. When we say or hear the word anxiety, it signifies that the person is in some problem. So, the word anxiety in itself sounds like a negative word. In other words, we can say that it is stigmatized as a negative word. But as a psychologist, I can say that anxiety is good, provided some situation should be fulfilled to prove it as good. So before proving that anxiety is good, we should know that what is the meaning of anxiety. Anxiety is a collection of different emotions such as fear, worry, helplessness, etc. In other words, when things are not under my control or when we are afraid of something, we feel anxious. So anxiety is basically a fear-based emotions. When we are afraid of something, when we think that I won't be able to control the outcomes of my life events in all these types of my in our personal life, we feel anxious. And anxiety is often perceived as unpleasant state of mind, resulting in physical symptoms such as fluctuations in blood pressures, palpitations, nervousness, etc. But imagine the world in which there is no anxiety. What would happen? There would be no efforts done by the student to excel in their study. Why? Because if there is no anxiety about getting good marks in the examination, why the student will study hard? If there is no goal of achievement in the life of students, they won't do anything for the success in their life. And the employees would also not do their best as they are not anxious about their promotions and recognitions. If a worker is not visualizing that he can get any type of recognitions or promotions, and if he is not at all anxious about his growth in the work setting, he won't do anything, and no health precautions would also be taken. For example, in this time when the whole world is going through the pandemic situation of COVID 19, everybody is taking care of his health. Why is taking care of his health? Because of this anxiety. We are preventing ourselves from the injurious effect of infections caused due to COVID 19. We are taking a lot of precautions. And why we are taking these precautions? Because we are anxious about our health. We don't want to get ill. So this anxiety is helping ourselves to prevent ourselves from the injurious effects of COVID 19. So if there is no anxiety, there would be no health preventions. In the same way, there would be no discipline in our life, and many other things would result as lack of anxiety in our life. So what motivates us to excel is anxiety. But the important thing here is the level of anxiety. That makes a difference and that matters a lot. It is not the anxiety itself, it is the level of anxiety which matters a lot. So now the question arises, which level of anxiety acts as a push factor and which level of anxiety deteriorates the performance of the individual? So the answer is here. If we monitor this figure, we can see that both the extremes are bad for the good performance. Either it is too little anxiety or it is too much anxiety. If the person is having too little anxiety, he will not be motivated to do anything because there is no anxiety in his life. He is careless, he is carefree, he won't do anything. He is not at all concerned about anything in his or her life. But in contrast of this, if that person is having too much of anxiety, that would also negatively deteriorate his performance because that accelerated level of anxiety would hamper the performance of the individual. It is the only moderate level of anxiety that keeps a person or a student alert, engaged, and makes him to accept challenges in his life, whether it is his personal life or it is his academic life. So, what matters the most is the level of anxiety, and we can see that it is the moderate or optimal level of anxiety that acts as a push mechanism or that acts as a motivator in the lives of individual. Because if there is no anxiety, there would be nobody to motivate us to do something. It is our intrinsic motivation. Anxiety is intrinsic motivation. We are internally inspired to do something. We are internally pushed to follow the path of our growth. But anxiety becomes harmful when it interferes with your daily function. So it is the very high level of anxiety which do not allow you to do your daily activities in your proper manner. That level of anxiety hampers your performance. In other words, when anxiety converts into anxiety disorder, it hampers the performance of the individual. So it is not the anxiety, I repeat, it is the level of anxiety that is good or bad. So high level of anxiety, high means hyper, intense, G for generalized, H for horrified. So when anxiety is perceived in this manner, then anxiety is bad. Otherwise, anxiety is good. This person is almost done, but just need a pinch of anxiety, and this pinch of anxiety would act as a motivator factor in the life of the individual. Because if there is not a pinch of anxiety in the individual's life, that individual will not encourage to do anything. That person will not be motivated to do anything in his life. So anxiety is good, provided the level of anxiety is optimum. It should neither be too low nor be too high. If it is too high, it will push you in the category of anxiety disorder. So maintain your average level of anxiety, and that average level of anxiety would lead you in the path of growth. So be anxious a little bit, that is good for your growth. Thank you.